So there you guys have it. We get sneak peek number 5 of Spider-Gwen joining the fray, and we can check out what they've got to say over on the forums. This is CM Fragment. What if another person has been bitten by the radioactive mutant spider? Check out the graceful spider hero's new look and amazing powers. Further information will be announced in the patch details later. Stay tuned. So again, we know that there's nothing coming more because the patch details are announced. Usually it's like future patches. Spider-Gwen is ready to swing into action and join in the battle to protect the multiverse in her costume inspired by Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So tier 4 Spider-Gwen basically coming to the game. We still have the New World Boss Legend King event running right now. That's really good. But let's jump into Spider-Gwen. What to expect? I think a lot of people are going to probably end up being in that ballpark of not probably being able to level up Spider-Gwen. Mostly because I think most people already probably went after Wolverine for the PvP aspect. The uniform was a really good look. He's a really popular character. So if I had to imagine, I'm going to imagine a lot of people probably not in that ballpark where they can accept a new character inside of tier 4s. So let's take a look real quick. Go inside here, point out speed. And what we really want to be able to see inside here is not just the speed characters, but we want to see speed female characters. This is going to be an important part of where she is and where she stands in terms of who she compares to. And at this point right now, we don't have a lot of speed tier 4s in terms of females. I mean, you still got Spider-Man and you've got Miles Morales, who's an absolute banger and a beast in terms of tier 4s. And then you basically have Black Widow, and that's it. I mean, there are no other speeds here. Actually, I forgot all about Gamora. Realistically, like, it's not going to take a whole lot to beat out Gamora, right? Like, I hate to say it, it's not going to take a whole lot to beat out Gamora. And realistically, when you look at Gwen and where she will fit into the fray, is that you're essentially comparing her against Black Widow, which not a whole lot there to capitalize on, and then you're looking to compare her to Gamora for your speed. Be aware that you guys know that, you know, Luna Snow is coming, but I really anticipate that we're going to see Luna Snow sometime in the fall, and we're probably going to see this become the barometer stage for setting power levels for characters again with Luna Snow in terms of tier 4. Shadow Shell doesn't count as a speed tier 4, even though she does have a tier 4, because you can switch them back and forth between her. But remember that her original uniform, her original look was a universal type character. So you see how she disappears from the frame because she's not in there. She's a universal type character. So it's a good thing in terms of, you know, tier 4 Shadow Shell, because you almost end up with 2 characters, a speed and a universal that you switch back and forth to. But really, she's a universal type character, so you're going to be leveling her with universal books and so forth like that. But ultimately, you don't have a whole lot in the way of like looking at Spider-Gwen and being able to see who she compares to, who she competes against inside here. So let's go take a look real quick back and collapse out of here, and then we can just go in and get Gwen. Let's get ya, Gwen. So Gwen is sitting inside here. I absolutely loved her Gwenum uniform, and I thought it was really, really cool, especially given some of her other uniforms that she's had. Sans hood, and then she had hood on. Now, what concerns me most about the uniform is the fact that, okay, so we're gonna get this difference in uniforms, right? But when we look at the trailer, the uniform really doesn't look that much different. So I'm like, even when you looked at these uniforms, right, you can see there wasn't very much different. There was some minute differences in terms of the lines, and then we got this big change in terms of Gwenum, and at potential transcendence, she was an absolute banger, and it was a beast of a character. And it was definitely a whole new look for the character overall. It's just weird that we got this uniform and this uniform, hood on, hood off, and now we're probably going back to a look that looks somewhat like this. We'll probably get some more detail in the uniform, like, you know, lines and 3D kind of pop on it, but it's a weird thing because you're looking at the past uniforms that this character had, like, and you can see the very small changes. It's basically a hood off, and then you get the lines on the inside of the character for where they are. More than likely, those lines are only extended or shortened because the hood being on or off, and it's basically showing some like kind of pull. You know, like it's a weird thing to say because we haven't had very many different looks for her, but we are getting a tier 4 nonetheless. I think that this character definitely deserves a lot in terms of what she's going to probably bring. She's really popular in terms of overall placement for characters inside this game, 250 something characters that we have. And I'm looking forward to her. She was really supposed to be my next tier 4 character in terms of, you know, I don't really care about otherworld battles. So in that regard, I don't have a reason to level up Wolverine to get him to tier 4, because he wasn't like his place is really inside PvP. And I've brought this up a couple of times before. While he would be very highly beneficial to put inside PvP, the point is that realistically, for sakes, if I'm like a whale, if you would consider me like a mini whale or whatever you want to consider me, even inside like otherworld battle, there's just no range for me to compete against some of these top level characters and be inside that challenger league. Like, it's just not, like, it's just too much pay to win inside there, so I can't compete. So there's no point in me trying to compete with a free-to-play roster, like or a potentially free-to-play roster. So like, same thing for timeline battle. I'll take the crystals that I can get, and I'm happy with that, and I'll move on. It's not a big deal. So now the question that I really do have though is whether or not she's going to come out and be a PvP type character, because as going back to point out the roster of characters that we basically got, and you see that like we still have Miles Morales, and he's pretty much dedicated to PvE. And our speed type characters that we have inside here have legitimately predominantly been for PvE. So I anticipate with the release of Wolverine, that we're probably going to segue Gwen probably into being that PvP character, which is what I was kind of hoping that they did with Miles. Not necessarily to put Miles inside the PvP range, but he was so powerful enough as is that there could have been minor tweaks to his uniform where, you know, we could have basically had him as a back and forth between PvP and PvE. But it doesn't seem like they seem to want to go that route so much with characters being PvP, PvE oriented at the same time with the same uniform. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Gwen has to offer. Just a little disappointed in terms of like the preview for the uniform, just because, again, it's like kind of that weird feeling of like, are we just going to get more of the same with this uniform that we're getting for her? I feel like we are. I feel like it's just going to be a whole lot more of this look, with maybe just a little bit more detail. Hopefully they give her more power. Obviously she's going to get more powerful, but she gets commensurate power, so that way she can operate at tier 4 and operate as the fan favorite that she is. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I just cannot tell you guys that I will be tier 4ing her at any point anytime soon, because you can see I am pretty dry on my tier 4 resources. Unfortunately, they still have yet to address in any shape, form, or way the ability to get tier 4 resources. Even my books, man, like I haven't even been able to get books inside here for speed characters. And then we come inside here and I look at these resources and they are just so dang hard to get. Like, I mean, at this clip, unless you're paying to play, you're pretty much just tier 4ing a character, tier 4ing a character like once every other month. That's just the truth of the matter. But that's a whole nother issue that they need to solve and need to address, that I don't think is going to get addressed at all this year. So we'll see what happens. Until next time, guys, peace.